what? I actually need to get back on. For some reason, I can't do the, oh wait, hold on. Maybe that's it. Oh, okay. Maybe we're good now. Hold on.
Okay.
I need to get full screen. Okay. There we are. Okay, good. Yay.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. So welcome to week 3, everybody, of our social media training. This is all about branding yourself on Facebook. So for the past 2 weeks, we've been talking about Twitter and its idiosyncrasies and how to navigate the platform. I just got to share this real quick because this is so cool. I had somebody Vox me who has been on Soundboard and has been on using us to have us tweet for her, but doesn't check it that often. And she works in a school district. And because of all the healthy living content that she's been putting out, her school superintendent just came to her and said that obviously she knows what she's talking about with healthy living and healthy eating, and her entire school district wants to buy a tower garden farm and install it for the school, and they're moving to do that in the coming school year. So you never know who's watching, you never know who's listening.
Yeah.
You got to be out there. You got to be out there. Okay, so let's hop into thinking about from a Facebook perspective. So next 2 weeks are going to be all about Facebook. Obviously, everybody's familiar with Facebook, and you know the ins and outs of how to navigate the platform. But what we're going to talk about today is some aspects of it that you may not be as familiar with. All right, so as we're thinking through our steps to social media success, first thing to think about is the branding side of this. Okay, just back to that point. It matters how you come across on these platforms. It matters what people see when they visit your profiles, and it matters the message that you are sending. So we want to think about it in terms of what's the first impression that people get when they visit our profile. You know, we talked about it on Twitter. When they land at your profile, did they see an empty silhouette and no information, or do they see a good slice of you? Well, let's think about that today on Facebook. So it should go without saying, but I'm constantly surprised at how many people have a really choppy picture or a tiny picture where you can't see anything. Please take the time to update your profile on Facebook and make it, it doesn't have to be a professional, model glamour shot, but have it a clear, good looking picture of yourself. And same with your background banner. It really matters, especially on today's world where some of us have 30-inch monitors. When they land on your profile and you see this big picture, but it is low res, then that doesn't come across professionally. So be aware of that. The other thing that I think is worth your time is if you've never taken the time on Facebook to go through your profile and really fill out some of the information there. I want to show you how to get to this. So when you go to your personal profile and you see here you've got this button, edit profile. There's a couple of things that you can do right here, but we're going to go ahead and scroll all the way down to the bottom because I want you to walk through this step by step. So scroll to the bottom of this and go to edit your about info. And this, all these choices are going to pop up, okay? So first of all, I recommend that you put in your education history if you have not done so, because this Facebook, remember, is built on knowing who you are and who other people are in relationship to you. So it will do a better job of connecting you with people in your past if you will put in this information. The next thing that's really interesting, I think, for it to target you with connections, because we want to get new connections, is to put in the places that you've lived. Okay, so you can put your current town, your hometown, but if you're like me and you've moved all over the planet, then if you will put the places that you've lived with the timestamps that you were there, then what Facebook does a really good job of is connecting you with people from your past. And I'm constantly surprised at how well it does this. But it's found former coworkers, former church friends, former school friends that I've had in these various locations. And, it's uncanny, but it does a good job of this. So take the time to do that. And then I also recommend taking the time to fill in some contact information here. This stuff is hidden and buried enough that even visually hide your email address so that scraper bots can't go out and pick it up and send you spam. But you can add as much information as you want. You can put in your Juice Plus site. You can add your other social media channels, whatever you're interested in. As much information as you feel comfortable in putting, I encourage you to do that because of the way that Facebook, again, can tie you to new people. So please take the time to do that. Now, I want to spend a few minutes here unpacking some nerdy Facebook background data that I think it is important for you to understand so that you are maximizing your presence on the platform, okay? So in thinking about this from a conversation perspective, remember with Facebook, it's all about leveraging that existing warm network that you already have, okay? And so how do we make this conversation really thrive and grow and get us in front of new people? So this is a little text heavy, but it's important. These first 3 bullets are from Facebook's terms of service that you can go and find. So I want to talk about what they're saying here, and I want to talk about what they're saying between the lines. So first bullet says, Facebook was built on the idea of connecting people with their friends and family. That is still the driving principle of the news feed today. Our top priority is keeping you connected to the people, places, and things you want to be connected to, starting with the people you are friends with on Facebook. Okay, so key phrase here. Facebook is keeping you connected to the people, places, and things you want to be connected to. Well, how does Facebook know what you want to be connected to? Well, Facebook decides that you want to be connected to the things that you choose to connect with. I know. So what happens is, and I hear this complaint over and over and over from people, is they get on Facebook, they check their home feed, and it's all Juice Plus, and it's all the same people all the time. Well, why is that? It's because Facebook has decided that because somewhere in the past that you've interacted through Facebook with somebody who's on your team or a customer, then they're a very important person to you on the platform, and therefore their stuff gets put at the top of your feed because, we talked about Twitter for 2 weeks. Twitter content is constantly based on the newest, okay? And the newest gets put at the top and the older stuff gets pushed down and down and down. Facebook is not built that way. They put stuff in at the top of your home feed based on interactions you've had in the past. So you can see how if you interact with something, that's the person or the type of content that gets put at the top of your feed again. And so what happens very quickly is the top of your home feed becomes this very cyclical, repeating bubble of information that frankly gets kind of boring really fast. And when you're posting stuff, you're just posting healthy living content to your existing teams and customers. So we really want to shake that up and rattle the cage of what Facebook provides for us, okay? 2 more thoughts here. Second bullet, your feed should inform. People expect the stories in their feed to be meaningful to them. And we have learned over time that people value stories they consider informative. If that's not the most redundant statement you've ever heard, of course you value stories that you consider informative. Well, again, how does Facebook know? Because it's stuff that you've clicked on in the past, and they think you want to see that type of content again. So here we are again, stuck at the top of our bubble, stuck at the top of our feed, and we have this self-fulfilling prophecy of repetitive content. Lastly, important to note, because you as a business person need to rattle Facebook's algorithm to take control back of your home feed, because you don't want it to be a waste of time. And bullet 3 here is telling you Facebook knows that your home feed is designed to waste your time. We found that people enjoy their feed as a source of entertainment. Well, why is that? Because those stupid slow motion cat videos where they're falling off the counter they stop you from scrolling because the video catches your eye. And so no matter how inane it is, you're probably going to watch it, at least some of it. And then you realize, like, I'm watching cat videos. Someone, spare me. So to escape this bubble, what do we do? All right, we're going to revisit this idea next week. I don't want to spend too much time on that. So here's two very important charts for you to understand. This first chart is the value that Facebook places on different types of posts. Okay, so over here, you have the type of post that exists, whether it's a video, photo, a link, or a status update. So the more weight it has, the better, meaning it has more life. These are the things that can happen to your post. Okay, so the actions that other people can take. Of course, it being shared to other people's timelines is the best thing because it gets your content in front of new eyeballs outside of your friend network. All right, so I want you to think about the types of things that you post. And Facebook's been very clear that in the next 5 years, they would like 100% of their content, of the content users post on their platform, to be video. Why is that? Again, because it stops you in your tracks and it stops you from scrolling. Now, at Soundboard, we know this, and I want to tell you that we're always looking for good video content that we can host on Soundboard that you can share, but it's very difficult to find stuff that does not mention other brands and that is professionally done. I mean, you can find videos all day long of people talking into their phones about their healthy living journey, but that's not valuable to you to share, through the Soundboard as you. So anyway, here's what you do. Here's the best thing that you can do, the most important thing that you can do for yourself as a business person on Facebook, as a personal, thinking about your personal profile, not from a business page perspective. Here's how to go and activate the warmest market that you have, which is your existing Facebook friend network. Okay, so let's take a look down here real quick. This is Facebook's Edge ranking algorithm. And what that means is, like we said, not all posts are created equal and not all relationships on Facebook are created equal, because they're putting stuff at the top of your feed that they think you want to see. Now, here's where I really want you to understand this concept of affinity. Okay, your affinity, this is defined as the score between the viewing user, you, and the Edge creator, the person who created the post. When you accept friend requests from a person on Facebook, you start to build up an affinity score. So let's say you got on Facebook in 2010 and you accepted a friend request from somebody that you went to like 3rd grade with. And you just thought, oh, I remember that person. Sure, I'll be their friend. And you have not spoken to that person through Facebook since you accepted that friend request 5 years ago or whatever it was. That means you have a very low affinity score with that person. And Facebook thinks you don't care about that person, and maybe you don't. And that's neither here nor there. But they know something about you, which is why they asked to be your friend in the first place. Okay, you are not a stranger to them. Now let's take the person who is in your team, who you're constantly sharing posts back and forth and commenting on each other's posts and sharing photos because you're friends with that person. That person and you have an incredibly high affinity score. So even though you're friends with these two different people and it feels like it should be the same, Facebook does not view them as the same. Okay, and so you're way more likely to see content from that person that you are active friends with than you are to see content from that person you've never spoken to. Now, you will see that post from that 3rd grade friend if you scroll in your home feed for 2 hours. But if you scroll in your home feed for 2 hours, you're not going to make NMD this year. You know what I mean? So we want to take this thing back. We want to take back control. So here's how you do it. You go to your Facebook feed, your home, your profile. Oh, my girls are visiting grandma today. Look at that. They're having fun. All right, anyway, go to your friend network. And I want you to start perusing your friend network. And I want you to do this for 10 or 15 minutes a day, every day for the next month. And you're going to see a powerful and dramatic change in the way that people interact with you on Facebook. So find somebody on your Facebook friend network that you realize you haven't communicated with through the platform since you became friends with that person. Okay, because we want to re-energize our affinity score with that person. And I want you to go to their profile. That's funny. Kerry Daigle does not have 0 friends. That must be his business page. Hey, say again. Oh, sure. So anyway, go to their profile and comment on a recent post that they have made. Post something to their profile and do something to show them that you care. Okay, obviously don't go in swinging with Choose Plus, but comment on a recent photo. Okay, and so here's a perfect example. This is my best buddy from high school, Ben. Ben and I went to college in different states and lived in different states and lost touch. Okay, so we became Facebook friends a long time ago. And when I was experimenting with this last year, I went to Ben's profile and I realized I had not seen any posts that he had done in months, maybe ever. And so I went to his profile and I commented on some of his recent family photos. And then I found an announcement about this old band that we used to like, and they were back together on tour. And so I posted that to his timeline, and we had this funny conversation back and forth about it. Okay, all of that stuff. Sorry, y'all. Took about okay. Anyway, so all that stuff took less than 15 minutes. But what happened is I now see Ben's stuff all the time in my home feed, okay? And the other exciting thing about this, and we have a dual motive here that's not selfish, is we want more people seeing our stuff, right? We want more people seeing those articles and those videos that we're posting, because we don't just want our existing team and customer base to see this stuff. We want to get in front of new eyeballs. So again, this is the warmest market that you have, that you're sitting on. You probably have way more Facebook friends than I do. Maybe you're like Jamie and you have so many that you're about to hit the 5,000 friend cap. And you have to delete old friends to accept new friend requests. Anyway, if you will take time to reactivate and increase your affinity score with these people that you already know, and you start to make those posts on a regular basis, you are going to get your healthy living story in front of new people all the time, and it matters. Y'all, I keep doing interviews with soundboard users left and right, and I'm putting them on Zoom, and I'm putting them on our Facebook page. I wish you, take the time to go watch some of them. But everybody says the same thing, and it's this: you never know who is watching and being impacted. Y'all, people do not take the time to interact with your messages on Facebook. Do not give up. If you just think, well, nobody's liked a message or nobody's commented, and therefore nobody's asked to buy anything from me through Facebook. You have to be consistent. You have to get in front of new people, and you have to take the time to listen, okay, just like in real life. And I hear this over and over and over. People are telling me, well, somebody finally came up to me after 6 months and said, I know our kids are on the same soccer team. We don't really talk that much, but I see the kind of stuff that you're posting and I want to know more. How are you doing this for your family? Those kinds of things happen all the time. And so this is how to make this work better for you on Facebook, is going and re-energizing and reactivating the affinity score that you have between all these different people. And I probably have said this on one of our trainings before, but I'll say it again, that Juice Plus people are the most missionally minded group of people that I have the privilege to work with. And the point is that you don't lead with the product. You know, you lead with the healthy living aspect, and you lead with, oh, I'm so sorry, with caring about people, you know, with who they are and what they have going on in their lives. And so be yourself, you know, when you go visit your friend's profile and just ask them about what's been going on in their lives. You know, comment on a photo, comment on an article that they've posted. Just direct message them if you want to. I mean, if it's your best friend from grade school, by all means, they would love to hear from you. But take the time to do that. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Hey, can I just interrupt for just a minute, James?
Yeah.
I want to make sure everybody can see the screen. I heard back from one of my team members that she's really sure that she couldn't see the screen that you were sharing. And I'm not quite sure why that is. But can everybody, I just made a chat, I just posted a question in the chat bubble. I want to make sure everyone can see the screen.
Everything, I'll reset it on my end, but everything looks normal from my end to have the share being active.
Okay.
Okay, so that kind of wraps up that thought. But here's a perfect example of what happens when this is done and when this is done well. So this is Ruth. Ruth is my Facebook friend, and she's an NMD in New Zealand, actually. And I put this post up here because it captures the idea, the concept of what I'm talking about really well. And so Ruth is in New Zealand, so the timestamps on this are a little weird, but I want you to notice this. So this is an article that she posted from Soundboard a while back. This is a couple months ago. But you can see that the first comment came in, okay, on the evening of January 20th. And this conversation goes back and forth. Some people like running, some people hate it. And there's, you know, Ruth's responding sometimes, and sometimes people are just having their own ongoing conversations. But the last comment came in almost 48 hours later. Okay, so what happened is, because this post was getting this kind of action on it, it was continually being put back up at the top of people's feeds. And this is why sometimes when you check your feed in the morning, you see a post at the top of it. And then when you check in the evening, it's still at the top of your feed, even though you know people have been posting over the past 10 hours or whatever. It's because when these things happen to your posts, they begin to take on a little bit of a life of their own. And because active things are happening to them, you see more and more people have the capacity to see it, and it stays alive longer. All right, so the more weight that a post gets, okay, so the more things that happen to it, the longer it can kind of resist Facebook's natural desire to push it down the feed, which is called the decay rate. And so when you think about posting, and when you think about how to best leverage this, okay, I'm going to say something that sounds contradictory, but I promise it's not. The first thought is, back to our earlier point, ultimately, the things that you can measure for success on Facebook, shares, comments, likes, are nice to have and they're valuable, but they're not critical for your success on the platform, okay? Because, like I said, people are Facebook lurkers. They are consumers. They don't always engage with you, but they're watching, they're reading, and they're paying attention. Okay, and this is something we'll talk about in depth in a future week. How do you tell your actual readership and not just your comments? And I keep hearing over and over and over from people, conversations that get started on social media get taken offline, and therefore it's hard to ultimately track A to B to C success on social media as far as like click-through rates. But on the other hand, you do want these things to happen to your posts so that they can stick around longer and be seen by more people. Okay, so how do you have these things done to your posts? Well, take the time to do this to other people's posts. Okay, don't just post and say, my work here is done. The readers will flock to me. My friends will flock to me because I have posted. You know it's not like that. So don't assume that just putting information out there as and having a one-way communication direction is sufficient. It's not. And again, this is your greatest asset that you've got right here, is your existing friend network. So just go lean on these people. Go get to know these people again. Go find, the people that you haven't talked to in a long time and ask them how they're doing. Start asking them how they're doing, and then find an article that you think they may be interested in after you start talking to them. It's so easy on Soundboard to share an article directly to somebody. I mean, you can text it to them, or you can just send it straight to them. All right. Healthy college living on a budget, tips that won't break the bank. How many of our friends have college-age kids or kids about to go to college? I taught middle school for 11 years. All my former students are now headed to college. So what you can do is you hit this button right here, share on Facebook groups, and the share window comes up, and you can share it, check it out, on a friend's timeline right there, and you can post it to whoever you want. Post it to my friend who's getting ready to go to college. Okay, and then all you have to do is hit post. Hey, saw this, was thinking about you. Have a great time next year. And you're getting in front of people, you're touching people with good content, you're showing them that you're thinking about them, and you're doing everything that you need to do to overcome Facebook's proclivity to show you the same stuff over and over and over and over again. Okay? All right, we are at our 30-minute mark. So I will open the floor for questions. Diane, do you have any thoughts?
I do. I have a question. And I think we also have a question down in the queue down there in the file. But my question is, what you just did, that soundboard, where do we find that you just did?
Okay.
All those articles on soundboard.
So the soundboard is right here. This juiceplus.vip is where you go to sign up. I know that we said our last week we'll talk about the soundboard in depth, but once you sign up for the soundboard, what you are signing up for is access to all of this.
Okay, awesome.
So this is the soundboard where we update it every day, and you can pick and choose what you want to post on what social media platforms you want to post it. And now you don't have to spend time, energy, or effort on finding good social media content.
How can I read that article before I post it? Because I want to make sure I don't post something that if there's something in there I don't agree with.
Sure. So we really try to, we're aware of a lot of that. But we host the whole article right here. So you can preview it. You good? I appreciate it, man. And so the whole thing's here for your preview. And then down here we have all these buttons, all the platforms that you can share it on.
Okay, good.
So we've got articles, we've got specific topics. I think I might have mentioned this, but
right, yeah.
We've got, the Shred 10 and Healthy Living Revolution and all that stuff as well.
And then another question is, and this was at the very beginning when you were showing us how that that we need to add cities that we lived in and that sort of thing. Did I understand you to say that we should not put an email on there?
No, you should, because what Facebook does well is they actually mask it. Okay, they say it's hidden from the timeline, so you can put it in there, but people have to actually click on it to see what it is, and this prevents spam bots from scraping the page and just picking it up. So it's don't worry about that being out there. It's not like tweeting it out. If you've ever thought about it, don't ever tweet out your email address to anybody or your phone number, because it will get picked up for spam or even hacked.
Right.
But this is, hidden enough to.
Okay.
Problem.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sure. Anybody? Okay, sorry. There was a question that popped up. So Anna asked to comment on a recent picture. What did you say about their timeline? So yeah, just from a casual perspective, Anna, just go through your timeline and find the person, you know, who you haven't talked to in a long time, like my buddy Ben, and just visit their timeline and just look around on their profile and find something recent that they've posted that you can easily comment on that doesn't feel weird. You know what I mean? Don't show up on their profile and have the first contact from you in 5 years be an article about, you know, dietary needs or whatever. That's not a good lead. A good lead is go see what's going on in their lives and ask them about it. How they're doing. How's their mama? You know, how's their kids? And, you know, say whatever you want to say. Be yourself. But even just that simple act lets Facebook know that you want to connect with that person again. And, you know, the more you do that, the more their stuff starts showing up in your feed at the top, and the more your stuff starts showing up in their feed. Because if you're not seeing these people's posts, they're not seeing yours either. And so that's how we get stuck in that loop of when you visit your home feed and it just looks like everything's Juice Pulse all the time. That's why.
I have a question for you, James. I heard this and I wanted to get your thoughts on it, if it's true, false, or that is, if I post something on my Facebook, the chances are that, you know, maybe 20% of my friends will see that post. But if I get 10 or more comments in the first hour, that the percentage shoots up to about 80% of my friends. And I wanted to know what you thought of that comment.
I think the concept is right, but Facebook has changed the algorithm so much that the percentages are off. But the best I can understand from their research that they actually publish is that, and we'll talk about this more next week, but they've downgraded the ability for a Facebook business page to get found and have reach, but in turn they've upgraded a personal profile. And so my understanding is that in general, your Facebook reach is about 45% of your of your friend network, but that requires people to scroll a long time, and most people don't scroll that far. So I would have trouble attaching percentages to it based on X number of comments, but back to this concept, the more that things are happening to it, the longer the post stays higher up in people's feeds. So
sometimes I will post something and then maybe 10 or 15 minutes I'll post something else, and then 10 or 15 minutes I'll post something else. And it's not like people, my friends, are seeing like 3 things, you know, back to back to back. It's just, I guess I kind of do that because I don't know who's going to see what.
Yeah, so you're exactly right on that, because everybody has different size friend networks. And so somebody who has 10 friends has the likelihood of seeing your stuff pretty close together, but somebody that has 3,000 friends, the likelihood of that individual seeing all 3 of those posts is very small. And that's why, you know, you want to be posting on a fairly regular basis. But Facebook also, people on Facebook and Facebook as a platform has a lot lower tolerance for quantity of stuff from the same individual. I do not recommend posting 10 articles a day on Facebook just trying to get seen more, because you will wear your core friend network out. On Twitter, that's fine. You can tweet 35 times a day and it's not too much, because the platform moves so fast and it's all chronological. So your stuff gets pushed down really quickly. But on Facebook, I would tread lightly about posting. You know, if you want to post personal stuff and photos frequently, by all means do that. But posting articles over and over and over or frequently is not a great idea.
Okay, awesome. Does anybody else have any questions? You have to unmute yourself.
Well, sorry, I can't hear anybody. You got to ask through the chat window since we're on the.
Oh, okay. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Through the chat.
Chat me up. And I appreciate y'all's patience with all the noise. I knew I was coming home to intercept that work guy, but I didn't know it was going to be like that.
You have the fire department over there.
I'm glad I didn't have the fire department show up after all that.
So give us a sneak peek for next week.
So next week, we're going to look at Facebook business pages and talk through the aspects and reality of whether or not it's wise to do that at this point in Facebook's history. And then I'm also going to give you a really great cold marketing Facebook technique that has worked for a lot of people to increase their reach and network and customer base.
Awesome. Great.
Okay.
Thank you so much. This has been so helpful. It's just awesome. Thank
Good.
you.
Okay. Well, I will send you the recording here in a little bit, and we'll look for y'all next week.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much. Bye.